All right. Okay. Hi, everyone. Greetings from Shiksha Online. And as you all know, that today we will be discussing about the top certifications that are there in the accounting world. And we have Mr. Pankaj Dhingra amongst us. So I will just give a short introduction about him, and then we can go forward with the topic as well. So, before that, I would like to wait for a minute for the other attendees to join since it's just 4:02 right now. So, we'll be waiting a minute and then I will start with the webinar. All right, I feel we can start now. So, first of all, I would like to take a minute and introduce Pankaj. So, Pankaj Dhingra is a distinguished finance professional with a reputation of exemplary work experience in various sectors. Armed with a robust academic background as a chartered accountant and US CPA, Pankaj comes with a global experience in managing large finance functions and setting up of huge finance shared services, global services at large. He has continually showcased his expertise in leadership roles, including Global Finance Director at the prestigious Boston Consulting Group, former director for Asia ex Japan at BlackRock, and ex Global Finance Controller at Wipro. In his current role, he is a co founder and managing partner at FinTram Global LLP. And Pankaj spearheads strategic and corporate initiatives leveraging his understanding of the financial ecosystem to drive the company's success. So, Shiksha Online welcomes you, Pankaj, and we will be starting with the topic today. The and if you want to take a minute to introduce yourself, then you can go forward.
No, I think you did a fairly good job there. So thank you very much for that. Yes, of course, all that what you've heard is something that I've done, and of course I've been doing all along. All I can tell you, include, in addition to the introduction that you just had, is that I have always uh, been a student all throughout my career, and I can very well understand many of your positionings in terms of where you are. Because at the end of the day, there was a time when even I was searching and researching, and of course, contemplating the choices that I have as a student, and wanting somebody to really help us take the best course of action. And that is the reason when we had a discussion that Shiksha wanted to do something for the students' fraternity at large. I was more than happy to come on board and really talk about what should be your next best step. And all throughout the discussion today, we'll be really talking on in terms of, making you aware, I would say more aware as a person in terms of various qualifications that you may get into.
All right. So starting today, I will just first tell you about the topic. So the topic for discussion today is top certifications for today's globalized accounting world. And I will be starting with all the questions, and then Pankaj will be briefing all of them throughout the webinar. So I will just request you all to stay till the end of the session, and we will be addressing all of the doubts that you have. So just stay throughout the session, and in the end, we will start taking up questions in the chat box. And I will be the connection between you and Pankaj. So I will filter out those questions, and then he will be solving all of them for you. All right. So starting now with the overview of accounting qualifications, the first question that I would like to ask you is what are these qualifications ACCA, USCPA, CMA, and IFRS about? And what is the eligibility criteria for these particular qualifications?
Surely. So before I really jump on and really start talking on these qualifications, one thing I really want any and every student to know is that we are effectively gonna be learning these qualifications with an agenda that we want to go global. Gone is the time. Gone is the time. And I can really say control B and control you guys. You should really know this. Gone is the time wherein one Indian qualification can take you 2 miles in various global companies. You probably have to learn some global traits, the way things happens globally in these companies, be it accounting, be it reporting, be it compliances, and so on and so forth. You really have to be on your forefront to really know this, so that companies who have the global outreach welcomes you, and they really want you to really come on board. Some of the qualifications that you just heard, let's start off with, let's say, ACCA, or for CP, for that matter, CPA. Like we have chartered accountants in India, and I'm just trying to go as lemonish as possible. Like we have the chartered accountants in India, in US, the chartered accountants are called certified public accountants, CPA. In UK or the Europe at large, you would call yourself to be ACCA, which is Association of Chartered Certified Accountant. So you are effectively doing chartered accountancy of these countries or these domains or these geographies, as we may want to call it, when you think of doing these I would say, qualifications. So first thing first that you should ask yourself is that why. One of the reasons that I just mentioned is that if you want to go global, if you want to work in various multinational organizations, these are the qualifications to look forward to, be it ACCA, be it CPA, or CMA for that matter. CMA is nothing but like the cost accountant of India. You call it CMA or you call it CWA. I'm just going back my time, wherein there was an institute called Institute of Cost and Works Accountants of India, so-called ICWAI. And of course, now it is being called ICMA, Institute of Cost and Management Accountants of India. So, like we have CMA in India, you have CMA of US, and that's what CMA US is gonna be all about. Now, while we understand what these qualifications are, while we understand that, yes, there is a need, because all of us want us to have a seat at the table in various companies who have, I would say, presence in various countries. We really want to be working out for these companies because these companies are huge in terms of their outreach and, of course, their expansion plans. So we really want us to be part of it. That is one of the reasons for it. But can you do these qualifications sitting out right here in India? Or if yes, then what is the eligibility for that? And I think that's what the question was, that what is the eligibility for it? Many of these qualifications have eligibility that starts right from your class 12th. So if I really say, let's take an example, ACCA starts in class 11th. So if you're a class 10th qualified student, a class 11 student, you can start your ACCA right there. If you really talk on US CMA for that matter, you can start your US CMA after your class 12th. If I talk about US CPA, US CPA starts after your graduation. So you have to have minimum graduation to really start this as a qualification. And again, to circle back, one doubt that any one of you may have is, can you do this right sitting out right here in India? Answer is absolutely yes. You can do it right here in India. You can register yourself. You can kickstart these qualifications. You can prepare for these qualifications over here in India. And guess what? The icing on the cake is that you can also give exams over here in India. You don't have to travel abroad, and you'll be, relishing to know this. There are humongous and huge job opportunities also there in India. So it's a big plus on the whole, or a package on the whole that you really want to aspire for. Does that answer, ma'am?
Yeah, absolutely. And just because of this answer, I will be coming up to one more similar point. Like you said, that these qualifications can be done from India as well. So, coming to the next question regarding the career prospects and job roles, what are the career opportunities for professionals with these qualifications in India and globally? How can they grow in their career?
I'll give you a classical example there. And again, testimony to that fact is that why did I chose to be a CPA when I was CA itself? So I did my CA long, long back, 25 years back. And then that was the point in time wherein some intelligent person who was foreseeing the future. He, and of course, he was my boss at that point in time. He said that, that if you want to grow in US companies in the long run, you have to have a US qualification. And US companies uh, were like vulturing out that point in time in India. It was an advent of various BPOs, KPOs, that point in time. I'm talking 2000, 1999, 2000. That was the start wherein, many of the companies were starting building out their operations in India. So he was like, if you want to really vulture out these companies, you want to do really more, these are the qualifications to look forward to. I chose CPA that point in time, US CPA that point in time, and rest is history now because, you know, I I I I was working in Wipro that point in time, and Wipro was getting listed in US, so they wanted somebody who understand US norms, US compliances. So I did US CPA, and it really did wonder to me in terms of the growth and the scalability that I had after that. Same is the case with all of you students. If you're thinking about getting into any company that has US or European outreach, just take an example. Any company, be it, let's say, US company, who has a base in India now, because many of the US companies are now have a strong base in India, be it their back office, be it their front office, be it their, I would say global shared service centers in Gurgaon, in Delhi, in, let's say, Hyderabad, in Bangalore, and so on and so forth. All of these, uh, I would say, companies are looking forward for people who understand their company's compliances, regulation, accounting norms, and so on and so forth. So you have a big time demand there. And while I'm saying the multinational companies having base in India, Indian companies who have vultured out in these countries. For example, Wipro is listed in US, Infosys is listed in US, TCS is listed in US. I'm just making it up, right? Unilever, for that matter, is a US company. Many of the Indian companies have now either doing, they're either doing transactions with US or they have US entities. They also look for the US accountants or European accountants for that matter, which is ACCA. So they're effectively looking for these qualifications. And do not forget that even the big fours, be it PricewaterhouseCoopers, KPMG, EY, Deloitte's of the world, BCG's of the world, McKinsey's of the world. I worked for BCG as their head of finance for a long, long time. They all look forward to people who have these global qualifications because they really need it. And if you don't believe it, just go and type it out on Google. US CPA jobs in India, ACCA jobs in India, US CMA jobs in India. You'll be astonished to see the number of openings that they have. Demand is higher than the supply. And who doesn't want to get into a situation, right? What happens when demand is higher than the supply? Any student, when demand is higher than the supply, price goes up. And if your demand would be higher than your supply, your salary goes up.
All right, coming on to the next question. So now I would like to come on how to choose the right course. So how can the participants select the right qualification for them and then select the right course for that qualification?
I think it's a perfect segue. Let me just tell you that. So again, I'll circle back with what I did. So I was lucky enough that I got my boss telling me that this is what you should do, and I did what I did. And of course, rest is history now. But I can tell you, post leaving my job, of course, after I left BCG, I wanted to start something, of course, in the same direction, and hence we started off in Tram Global, which is of course working in the same direction in terms of helping the students know as to what they should be doing. And one of the things that we always do is that we do not want us to tell you which qualification you should choose. Rather, it should work backwards. It should work in a way wherein you should effectively be able to tell us that, what is your area of interest and what is that you want to do from mid to long term perspective. Let's say I have someone, I'm just making it up. I have Mr. X, and X wants to, let's say, work in Big Fours, and he wants to work on the audit side of it. Now he has two choices: either to work on the Indian audit side, as in auditing Indian companies, or he can choose to audit US companies or European companies. If your vision is to audit Indian companies, and there is no harm in it, there is nothing bad in it. If you want to audit like Reliances of the world, if you want to audit, let's say, Tech Mahindras of the world, having an Indian CA as a qualification is certainly going to be a rocking one. But if you really want to get onto the other side of the table, wherein you want to, let's say, I'm just making it up, you want to audit the US side of it, or you want to audit the UK side of it. There are many UK companies, European companies, which are having huge base now in India, Barclays for that matter. They have huge base in India and of course, across the globe. Now, if you want to see through that, you want to work for these companies, you want to audit these companies, then you have to have a qualification that is warranted in these countries. So if you have a vision that you want to be doing something in relation to US as a geography, US CPA is the qualification that you really have to choose. If you think that you are wanting to go on to the European side of it, UK side of it, then ACCA is something that you really need to choose. And I can tell you one thing, it is also a function of at which part of the career you are at now at this point in time. For example, US CPA, you cannot start in class 11th, but ACCA can be started in class 11th. So there is an early start component also that is being attached to ACCA, which is not there to US CPA. So you probably have to think through with that lens that, what do you want to do? If I'm a class 11 student and I want to do something internationally, then I would not choose anything else than ACCA, because ACCA is the only course available. And I can tell you this is the only course available that you can do in class 11th in the commerce side. You would always see, and I'm sure, ma'am, you would also seen that many of your friends who comes from the science background, they start preparing for engineering right from class 11th. They are preparing for JEE, they're preparing for this, that, medical students and all of that. We commerce students are not doing anything but wasting time because we do not have any opportunity, till the time we have cleared class 12th. But ACCA fills up that gap. You can start ACCA in the class 11th itself, and of course, become ACCA before your graduation. So it really gives you an edge in terms of becoming a qualified ACCA much before then your colleagues even start thinking about a qualification as such or a professional qualification as such, which is a big plus.
Right. So I think you have summarized very well that what qualification should be choose and what course should be choose and what will be the right thing to choose for the participants. But summarizing it up a little more, or if you want to add something more to the next question, I would like to ask you that what factors should be considered, when choosing between ACCA, USCPA, USCME, and CMA and IFRS, what factors are there that can be considered? If you would like to add more to what you said, anything in this question.
I think I fairly covered that in terms of the factors, which is like your current positioning as to where you are right now, your
Right.
age or your present qualification. Then comes, which part of the world you want to be working for. I think that is again something to look forward to. And third aspect is something wherein you probably have to see through that, which qualification will be more quicker. For example, ACCA has 13 papers in totality. USCPA has only 4 exams. USCMA has 2 exams only. So USCMA, if somebody wants to pursue USCMA, a person can become a USCMA in less than 1 year. A person can become CPA in almost, let's say, 12 to 18 months of time. A person can become ACCA in 3 years of time, or 3.5 years of time for that matter. So it all depends. For example, let's say, ma'am, let's say you're a graduate, right? You don't want to wait like for 3 years for becoming productive and start earning, right? You may think that, maybe I'll do USCMA or CPA for that matter. If I'm good on costing side of it, I'll probably go for USCMA, or financial management side of it. If that is something that is really plus for me, I'll probably go with USCMA. If I love accounting, if I love finance, then I'll probably go for USCPA, because, it will take like what, a year or so and I'll be done. If I'm, let's say, in class 11, 12th, then I can't do CPA. That's out of the question. I can do CMA or ACCA. Now it is my love. It is my love for costing, or, FM, or it is my love for accounting. If I'm more, I would say, inclined towards accounting, then ACCA is the choice. If I'm more inclined towards the, let's say, costing or the financial management, then CM is the side. So it's a varied mix that you probably have to think amongst yourself in terms of what works better for you. But of course, these are the factors that one should consider.
Right. So actually, you cleared a lot for the other people who are attending this webinar. And I feel that if this sort of webinars would be conducted a while ago when people who were opting for commerce and thinking about their future, then it would have been a great help. But thanks to you that you took out your time to conduct this webinar, that now people can think about for applying these qualifications and learning for it. And I hope it will be more helpful for them to know. So coming on that, I would like to address towards to the support and resources. So what training programs and resources, etc., are available to help candidates prepare for these exams?
Sure. I think it's a perfect I would say question to be answered, because students would certainly want to know that what would work right for them, and if that works right for them, then what are the resources being available. So let's say you have chosen a qualification, which is, I'm just making it up, let's say ACCA or CPA or CMA for that matter. Are there enough resources available in India, considering these are like global qualifications? Do we have somebody in India who can really teach you? Answer is absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. There are plethora of opportunities available. In fact, we at FinTram are also into it. We can really we have been supporting students all throughout in terms of various international qualifications, not only from taking the decisions, but also taking them through the entire study journey, and of course ending up not only on the clearing of examination, but also placing them into various corporates. The companies like ours are very well available all throughout. You just have to scan through your area. You have to just scan through, what works for you, what you really want to do. And of course, you probably would, certainly you'll get a plethora of, I would say, resources, not only to study, but also to excel in the area that you will choose. So for example, uh, well, let's say you'd want to do ACCA, you would get an ACCA player nearby yourself who you can really talk to, understand. You can understand what they really offer. You can really understand from them in terms of, what value they will bring for you, what is their way of teaching, what is their study plan, and so on and so forth. And that is something that is very well available now. So it is not something which is like an alien now in India. It is not. You have a fairly good resource being available. And of course, as I said, we at FinTram are any which way is doing it. And, you can certainly circle back on that in case you would want to.
Okay, perfect. Moving on. Can you share any success stories from individuals who have completed these certifications and even from FinTram as well, if you would like to share?
Any? I have many. and
Wow.
And I can tell you that the first one would be, would be the raise of the hand that I have. The testimony to that fact is that I'm the one who did CPA. And that point in time, I can tell you CPA was not even known. People were not aware of that, what is CPA. I did that because somebody told me, but that point in time, it was not even popular. But again, coming back to various success stories that we have, I have students, and this is particularly, for the CA students, I really want you to share that with you. Many of the CA students, they struggle to clear their CA final exams for various reasons. And we have many of those students like them, like who have not been able to clear CA, be it in CA inter or be it in CA final. Now, those students, they're not bad. They're really good because they know the content. It is just that they are not able to clear the one of the exams of CA, maybe 39, 40, and hence they are not able to make up the total, which is 50, or one subject is below 40, and hence they're not able to clear it for many, many attempts. Now, and you should certainly give a pat on the back of ACCA for that, because what ACCA does is that ACCA recognizes that they think that, yes, you have a caliber, it. So what they do is they give you various exemptions. So out of 13 exams, they say that you may not even have to give like 8 to 9 exams. You only have to give last 4 exams, and if you'll clear it, you'll become an ACCA. So I have many stories over here. The students who have been struggling for many years in CA, and they were not able to clear CA. They cleared ACCA in less than 12 months. And now they are being placed in Big Fours. Now they're placed in organizations which you would relish in terms of being part of, whether it is investment banking organizations, whether it is in terms of consulting organizations, whether it is Big Fours, whether it is some of the big time KPOs, uh, let's say, some of the IT companies, Wipro, Infosys, some of the companies like on the consulting side of it, on the Big Four side of it, as I already said, Deloitte, PwC, KPMG, they all have it. And that is where, it is really making a shift. It is really bringing a change because students are stuck. And then this option comes up, they choose this out, and then they're gone. Same is the case with CPA. You just have to give 4 exams, clear those 4 exams, and not to forget one thing that is very much there in these international qualifications is that you can give one exam at a time. There is no grouping system. So whether it is CMA, whether it is ACCA, whether it is CPA, give one exam at a time, move on. And see, if you are preparing for 4 exams together, you can understand the kind of pressure you are in, right? Clearing all the 4 exams together, 15 total, 40 in each and every subject. It's at times something or the other may not work for you. But when it is only one exam that you're gonna be appearing, it becomes, I'll not say easy, but it becomes at least better than giving 4 exams for you to really clear them. So it is not an easy exam, but of course, you can clear it since it is one by one.
All right. So as you were talking about exams so much, and I know that now people would like to know more about, exam strategy and preparation tips to crack these exams. So what are some effective study tips and strategies for preparing for ACCA, USCPA, USCMA, and IFRS exams? Would you like to share any?
Sure. So, thanks for asking that. I think, again, it's a very important one. See, first thing first is that, and this is something that I really have been saying all along, and we at FinTram always say this to all of our students also, that please do not think these qualifications to be easy one. These are not easy one. These are equally difficult. Like we have CA in India, CMA in India, these are also difficult qualifications, and these ACCA, CPA, they're also very difficult. They have their own. Otherwise, they would not be having any demand, right? They have demand because the people understand that if you have qualified this, you have done something, you are worthy of clearing such difficult exams, and hence you are being valued in the organizations. So they're equally difficult, and you should know it. You should not think that it's going to be like this. No, it's not going to be like this. You have to work for it. So that's the first thing that you need to have, that please ensure that you have this very clear in your mind that these are not easy qualifications. Second, you really have to devote good amount of time in terms of understanding how the exam of these qualifications are being asked. So for example, we are not used to computer based exams even now in India. We all are used to paper and pen kind of an exams, but all of these exams, these qualifications have, is the CB exam, computer based exam. So we really have to be accustomed or tuned in terms of answering those CB exams. We are not used to it. So that's second thing. Third, which certainly goes with any qualification, that you have to complete the entire syllabus. You can't cherry pick. Many of the students, they do that, right? That let's pick up the last 10-year exams. Let's pick up, what really has been on the minds of an examiner. This is something that is being tested a lot. Nope. No cherry picking. You have to complete the entire exam. Fourth, once you have done, of course, we at FinTram, we always say this, that once you have done your syllabus, now is the time to practice questions by your own hand. That is where many of the students really struggle, because they only think that, since they know it, they have learned it, now they can just go and kick off the exam. Nope, that's not going to be happening. You have to, I would say, do good amount of questions by your own hand in order to have that expertise, and then just go and kill the exam. And last but not the least is giving some mock exams. When you do the mock, and we I can tell you, we organize various mock exams for our students. Even five mock exams we organize at times to ensure that, student really have a rigor that, yes, he has to sit. He has to sit for 4 hours. So CP exam is a 4 hour exam. You have to know that you have to sit for 4 hours. And when you will sit for 4 hours, you try answering the questions, you'll understand that, yes, this is what I am doing as a mistake, so that I should not be doing that when I'm going to be sitting for the final exam. So that effectively prepares you to really handle the exam in the best possible way. Does that answer what you wanted to know?
Yes, it answers perfectly. And that is the reason why I will be asking you this next question, that any calendar that one needs to follow to appear for these exams, for example, dates of exams or time of the year, what would you like to share regarding this?
See, the best piece about these exams are that they happens around the year. So, for example, every quarter, ACC exams are happening. So March, then June, then September, and then December. 4 months are the ACC exams. So it is not like once a year kind of a phenomenon. You can give exams 4 times a year, which is equally flexible and comfortable for anyone. For example, let's say you're very good uh, in one subject, you have cleared that in 3 months of time, but next subject was tough one. So take 2 quarters and give that exam. Then again, you're giving third exam, you think that it's going to be quick, give that in 3 months of time, so you don't have to like wait for long to for giving exams. Same is the case with CPA. you know 4 times you can give exams all throughout the calendar, you have the time. CMA happens twice a year, so that's again something that one can look forward to. But there are no specific hurdles as such which will waste your time. These exams are available round the clock, so they can just go and sit for these exams and clear it. IFRS exam, for that matter, happens in June and December, so twice a year. So they give you like 6 months to prepare it. Once you've done that, you can very well go and sit for it.
All right. So this summarizes up everything real quick. And we will be moving on towards our last question for this webinar. And then we can go forward with the Q&A session from the attendees. So the last question I would like to ask you from my side is, what common pitfalls should candidates avoid while preparing for these exams?
Okay. Uh, I think I did cover that to an extent, that you should not consider these exams to be easy.
Right.
That's a myth, right? That's a myth. अच्छा, मुझसे सीए नहीं हुआ ना, तो एसी से कर लेता हूँ। नहीं बाबा, ऐसा नहीं होने वाला है। बॉस भगवान श्री कृष्ण भी आके के नीचे कहेंगे ना कि आप बिना पढ़ाई करे पास हो जाओगे, तो आप नहीं हो। You really have to be on your front foot. It's an
Right.
international qualification. It's not going to be an easy one. Let's have that very clear in our mind. But since these are like flexible ones, you can give one exam at a time. You probably can uh, ensure that uh, you are planning for one exam in one quarter. So that gives you flexibility of going one by one. But that doesn't mean it's they're easy. So that's the first thing that I would want every student to ensure, that they should not undermine the way these exams are being structured. Second, I think we are not used to the structure of the exams. We are not used to multiple choice question exams. We are not used to CB, computer based exams. We have to learn it. And there would be some time that will be spent on this. So while you may be very good in accounting, outstanding, but that doesn't help. That doesn't help. You have to learn the way those guys are asking questions. So understanding their ways, understanding CBE, which is computer based exam, and do not undermine the importance or the toughness or the difficulty level of these exams are gonna be the mantra, I would say. If you have that very clear in your head, your ability to clear exam substantially goes up. And this is the same thing we, as I said, we have been saying to our students all along.
Right. Okay, so now we'll be moving on towards the Q&A session, and I will be starting with taking up the doubts from the attendees. So all these questions are from the chat box, and I will be taking them one by one. So starting with the first question, someone has wrote that I am confused between ACCA and USCPA. What should I consider when deciding which one to pursue? And how important is it to choose based on where I want to work in the future?
I think how important it is absolutely super important thing. If you have an intention to work for US companies, go for US CPA. If you have a, intention to go for European side of it, go for UK qualification, which is ACCA. And your difficulty that you're facing right now in terms of choosing from both the qualification should also be circling down to the fact that where are you right now at this point in time in your career. If you are a qualified graduate, you and then you're discussing about it, do not forget that you have to give 9 exams in ACCA and maybe only 4 exams in CPA. So you should be aware of it. And that should also makes your decision should be very, very clear in terms of, where do you want to head to? Because you know that, now I only have to prepare for 4 exams in US CPA as compared to ACCA, wherein I have to give like 8 exams or 9 exams, whatever. So you have to be ready for that. And because time is going to be the essence, right? Giving 4 exams in a year and a half, or giving, let's say, 8 exams in 3 years of time, 2.5 years of time, certainly going to be making difference for you. So you really have to be aware of it. And third, I think, which is again going to be a something very important to you, is that you should somewhere also see that, what kind of job you would want to do. So for example, if you are targeting, let's say, I'm just making it up, if you're targeting some specific companies on the finance side of it, the ACCA or CPA is the best choice for you. But if you want to be getting on to, let's say, the the cost accounting or cost reporting side of it, more on the manufacturing side, then US CMA can be a big time choice for it. So it all depends, what you want to choose, where you want to work, and of course, then it comes that, what kind of um, what is right now your status or your current qualification that you currently have. It all depends on that.
All right. Another question I would like to address is Is it good decision for ACCA for HSC from science group? If it is the right decision, then how should I proceed on?
Oh, there are many students. There are many students who are coming from the science field. And I can tell you, there are many students who come from science field and they do CA also. It is not uncommon. So, and there are many students who are coming from the science field. If they're not liking science field or they do not see a future in science field, they're coming on to the accounting side of it. In fact, we as FinTram also have many students who have come from the science side and they're now working onto the onto the ACCA, onto the CPA, and they're doing wonders. I can tell you that. There are some students also have qualified and also now working for various corporates. So don't be thinking of, twice on that. There are many opportunities being available.
Okay. Moving on to the other question. What kind of job roles can I expect after completing one of these certifications? Are there specific industries or regions where these qualifications are more in demand?
There are no specific regions, there are no specific companies. As I said, go on Google and type US CPA job, US CMA jobs, ACCA jobs. You'll be seeing jobs coming everywhere, whether it is accounting domain, whether it is financial reporting domain, whether it is M&A, whether it is financial planning and analysis domain, whether it is pricing domain, whether it is financial analysis domain, whether it is auditing domain, be it internal auditor, stat auditor, whether it is more to do with the financial controlling side of it, you would see demand everywhere. So it is not one side of it. On the company side of it, you would see big fours asking for it. You would see big twos, big threes asking for it. You would see many of the Indian companies now asking for it. You would see various US or European companies asking for it. Go and Google it out. You will be stunned to see the demand. As I said, demand is more than the supply. So who doesn't want to get in there?
All right, moving on to the next. So, this is regarding, it's a similar question. It's regarding all these qualifications. So, the person has written that I've heard about ACCA, USCPA, CMA, and IFRS, but how do I know which qualification aligns best with my career goal? Can you explain the difference in terms of their global recognition and job prospects? So, I feel that she would like to know which qualification to opt for more, which has more recognition globally, and how she can do that.
See, recognition wise, I think they are the same. I don't see that, many of the jobs nowadays you would see, they say CA slash ACCA slash CPA. So recognition is same. But one thing that you should certainly know is that start salary of a CPA is highest as compared to any other qualification. And then, probably ACCA and CA are almost the same. ACCA at times is being pegged lower than the CA. So if I really give you a salary range, ACCA generally, and a fresh newly qualified ACCA generally get like what, 5 to 6 lakhs, and can be more also depending upon the experience. I'm saying zero experience, right? 5 to 6 lakhs. CA again, 6 to 8 lakhs, and CP again, let's say 6 to 8 lakhs. So salary ranges are almost the same. Recognition is the same. It all depends, if you have a prior experience, or if you have done some good work, if you know some good life skill or a trait, salaries can be different. But almost salary ranges are the same right now at this point in time.
All right. What are the eligibility criteria for these qualifications? Do I need a specific degree or work experience to pursue any of these qualifications, ACCA, USCPA, or CMA?
No, there is no work experience requirement as such. Of course, for becoming an ACCA member, they require the professional experience. But any job that you do, most of those jobs qualifies for this. If you're working in finance, they qualify for these, I would say, work experiences. So there is no specific work experience that is something that you should be worried about. Start off your qualification and move on. Experience thing doesn't really stops. For example, there is in these qualifications, there is no pre experience requirement for you to qualify as an ACCA. Like you have CA, right? You have to do articleship to become a qualified chartered accountant. In ACCA, there is no requirement as such. Clear your exam, you will become an ACCA. Once you'll work for 2 years, you'll become an ACCA member. So it's not something that is stopping you from becoming ACCA.
All right. What kind of roles do US CMAs typically pursue after certification?
Generally, the kind of roles that CMA has is that they become financial analyst, they become cost accountants, they become accounting managers, accounting executives, senior executives. They are on the management accounting side of it, so they do a lot on the financial planning and analysis, FP&A side of it. They also work on the financial management side of it. So many of them are part of various pricing teams. So that is again something that gets open up. They're also working as cost auditors in various organizations. So there is a varied kind of, I would say, opportunity that is being available once you do a CMA as a qualification.
All right. The next question is, I am a student in UAE. Which certification will be the best if I want to get inside finance and I am currently a 12th science student?
Oh, by default, by all means, ACCA. In UAE, ACCA is recognized like their own local chartered accountancy certification. So I have many students. We at FinTram have many students coming from UAE, Qatar, Dubai, and so on and so forth, who are doing ACCA, sitting out right there with us. So, by all means, ACCA, go for ACCA.
Okay, moving on to the next. Know if USCMA really worth it as it aligns perfectly for me because I like management accounting, but I have mostly heard ACCA or USCPA and not so much about USCMA. Additionally, is USCMA good to work in Dubai or Saudi? And I have done MCOM and currently working as a finance executive.
So if you compare ACCA with USCMA in terms of demand, and particularly in UAE, I think ACCA has a better demand in UAE, no doubt, as compared to USCMA. But I'm not saying that USCMA doesn't have a demand. You're comparing it. That is the reason I'm telling you that ACC has more demand as compared to CMA. But CMA, on the other hand, do not forget, has only 2 papers, and you can qualify that in less than 1 year. It's a big plus, man, because it doesn't take that much more of time. So do not forget that.
Okay. Right now, I am doing ACCA. I want to do job in India. Can I get the good job opportunity in India itself?
Once you clear your ACCA, send your CV to me. We'll get you one. There are plethora of opportunities we have. Even right now, when I'm talking to you, I have many corporates who we are working with as Ventram, wherein we are, placing our students. So when you qualify your ACCA, please reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to support you.
All right. Now I think, okay, there is one more question. Along with ACCA, which course should I pick for my bachelor's, BCom or BBA?
Indifferent, doesn't really matter. BCom, BBA are not gonna be taking you anywhere. They're just the same. It's Coke versus Pepsi, right? It's the same. Taste anything, it's the same.
All
Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. ACCA is something that would matter, my friend. BCom, BBA, for example, people at times do BWalk, then another qualification, doesn't really matter. Don't really be bothered on that. That's not going to be taking you to any interview table. One thing that's certainly going to be helping you is a qualification like ACCA or CPA or CMA, which will get you seat at the table in the interview.
All right. Moving on to the next. Are there any specific study resources or mock exams that you would recommend for someone preparing for these qualifications? And how important are these mock exams in terms of success? I think you have shared that mock exams are very important. But would you like to shed some light on what are the study resources that you would like to recommend for preparing for these
So
qualifications?
all of these qualifications, they already have their own resources being available onto their website. But we also, as I said, we as Fintram also, we provide our own study resources, not only from the study material standpoint, but also from the revision boot camp standpoint, question practicing standpoint. We have video question marathons, wherein we practice like hundreds of questions. Teacher solves it, and you get to understand as to where student really get stuck, why they really get stuck, and so on and so forth. So there are various resources being available. You can, as I said, you just have to research around yourself. And of course, as I said, Fintram is any which ways helping their students on this. And, they are really, somewhat somewhere being progressing well in whatsoever they're doing.
All right. There is a question out of the box for you apart from all these courses. So, yeah, she has written, apart from all these courses, please suggest me accounting software where leading MNC companies using currently, and I have completed MCOM and Tally.
So so if you have done Tally, many of the organizations are on Tally, and I'll say small to mid-term kind of mid-scale kind of companies are on Tally. But if you want to go more broader in terms of big time MNCs, many of them have their own accounting softwares, as in their own customized accounting softwares. Many of them are using SAP, many of them are using Oracle, some of them are using Hyperion for consolidation, and so on and so forth. So it all depends. I remember when I joined my first organization, there was a software named JD Edward. So there is no one size fit all kind of a thing. If you really see, some of the US companies are doing QuickBooks. So that's again something that is very popular there. So there is no one software as such. But if you know accounting, learning the software doesn't really take time. And knowing the softwares are never a showstopper in the interview. So if you can really showcase your skill rightfully, and if you can really demonstrate your understanding of accounting concepts, it beyond a point, debit and credit is the only thing that software does. It's on its own. So you should not be worried about that.
Okay, there is a slight repetition, and okay, this will be the last question that we'll be taking up for today. So, she wants to know that please let me know if USCMA is good course to work in Dubai and Saudi.
I already said that. I think you can, just go and type on Google USCMA jobs in Dubai. You'll get to know, yes, there are many jobs being available, and there are decent level of salaries also that is being available. So do not undermine. See, I tell you, these all are US qualifications. And US qualifications are very much recognized in entire Middle East, because they do not have their own qualifications. They are being dependent on European and Indian and US qualifications in terms of having their I would say, accounting and reporting being done. So there is a huge demand there on both the side of it. So just go and check it out. You will be relishing the fact that you would see huge amount of openings there. We have been dealing with it day in and day out, and I can tell you demand is huge in terms of what they have been looking forward to.
All right. So I think we'll be wrapping up the session now. Additionally, I want to share with all of you Mr. Pankaj Dhingra's LinkedIn handle. So I have put it in the chat box. You can follow him there and you can connect with him for further more doubts if you have any, or you can get to know more things about these particular courses. I have dropped his handle in the chat box itself. Also, if you will go above in the chat box, I have dropped some links in the beginning, some 3 to 4 links regarding these courses. So through these links, you can visit Shiksha Online's platform where you can figure out what are these courses, what are the different types of these courses. There are many variations, and you can just scroll these links that I have shared in the chat box and just take a look on the website itself. I will also be launching a feedback poll so that we know that how was your experience. It will be on your screen right now. I have just launched it. So take out a minute and just fill this feedback poll so that we know that if this session was helpful for you, would you like us to conduct more such sessions in the future for all of you? And to know what all sessions we conduct, you can follow our Instagram handle. I will just be dropping the username here. It's Shiksha Online Courses on Instagram. So you can connect with us there if you would like to give us any suggestions on what topics you would like for us to plan in the future. Then maybe we can reconnect with Mr. Pankaj in the future again for more such webinars like this and clear your doubts. All right. Fine. Then thank you so much, Pankaj, for taking out your time and for being a part of Shiksha Online webinars. And I feel that we do more such webinars with you in the future if possible. Thank you so much for being our guest for today.
Thank you very much for giving the opportunity. Look forward to work with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. You can take a leave now.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Thank you.
All right, I see a question. Can you please share those links again? It's not visible now. So I will be sharing these links again with you. So these are the courses that are present on Shiksha Online's website. Wait, let me just share these courses. And these are courses which are for free. Some courses are there where you have to pay some sort of fee, but mostly these courses are for free. You can just have a look here and just check out these courses. I have shared a link again, and there are 4 to 5, like for ACCA. I will be sharing now for ACCA. The one I have shared is for IFRS. You can visit these links, you can scroll as per your comfort, and then you can check out what suits best for you. I will be just sharing. So Shiksha Online is a website that provides these courses, many courses, not only these courses. There are many courses that are for free, and you also get certification after completing these courses. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. That's what we do. So you can just check out these courses. You can just visit these website and scroll. And whatever you like, there are many courses available. There are courses regarding your personal development as well. Then there are courses for maybe you can say data science or technology. You can visit the website and you will get to know. There are variety and n number of courses, and you can learn as much as you can from these. Okay, I have shared for CMA now. For CMA, I have shared. Is it visible? For US CMA, you are asking. Wait. Yes, I'll be sharing for US CMA now. For CMA, I have shared, and now for US CMA, I'll be just sharing. Okay, so this is the last one, US CMA. I have shared these links. You can visit these links. Just save it. I'll be ending the webinar now. Just save all these links. I have also shared the LinkedIn handle of Mr. Pankaj Dhingra and Instagram handle of Shiksha online courses. So do like follow us there. Don't forget, just go there, Shiksha online courses, and you can check out our Instagram handle. We keep doing these webinars and more topics, more suggestions. I also ask people there, what are some topics that you'd like for us to cover for all of you? So you can give us your suggestions there, and then we will plan a webinar regarding those topics. So we can even do that. Fine, I'll be taking a leave now. And I hope this webinar was helpful for all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for being a part of Shiksha Online webinar. And I hope that in future, I see you all more for different type of courses.